Hey guys, today we're talking about the most important lesson from Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Hi, I'm Nick Blanton, and I'm on a mission to help you quit your job and get your freedom back with freelance marketing. In my first year, I went from making $20 an hour to $100 per hour, and since then, I've made a lot more and worked a lot less, all while making my clients millions and gaining the skills to start my own successful business. If you're ready to do the same and get your freedom back, hit subscribe below.
So I first was introduced to this book when I had left my nice job and my home in Texas, and I moved across the country to Washington State to start a church. And so at that time, I had some business degrees and I thought I knew business, but I kept trying to start businesses and they kept failing, right? And I heard some people at a party and they were talking about Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and how, just talking about it, it just caught my interest. And so something told me, man, I need to read that, right? And then it took a little while, and I was so broke at the time that I actually had to go to the library and check it out. I had to, check out the book in order to read it because I didn't even have, the $10 or whatever that it would cost to go and to buy that book, right? So I went to the library, I rented this book, and I started reading it, and man, like my brain just lit up, and I just started reading it, and I'd finished it within like a day, and then I read it some more, and the first concept that really struck me out of it, which I don't believe is the most important one, but for me it was a big guide, and it was to never work for a paycheck, right? So there are a lot of reasons to work, and it's not saying that working is bad or anything like that, but the idea is never work as for a paycheck. And in the book, he was talking about his friend's dad was the one who knew business and understood how this stuff works. And so he was actually training him and his friend on how to do business, right? And that was their agreement, was that he would work for his friend's dad, and his friend's dad would teach him business, right? So he wasn't even getting paid, or he was getting paid very little, right? And then his friend's dad tried to tempt him. He tried to say, okay, how about this? I'll pay you so much an hour, so much more. And he just kept increasing how much he'd pay him per hour. And the idea was that I'll just pay you a whole lot so that you'll be happy, and then you'll stop thinking about business, right? And that's what he was trying to do. And him and his friend knew it. And he was offering these really, I think at the highest level, he offered him $5 an hour, which, was that maybe 60 years ago? That was insane. That was crazy money. And so he was so tempted to do it, but he turned it down. He said, no, because I want to learn how to, have my own business. And that's the idea, is that no matter how much money is offered to you, that money comes at a cost, and the cost is your freedom. And so the idea is that instead of going and working to get money, you need to work for skills, you need to work for resources, so that you can then go on to build your own business and make investments and things like that will be able to provide for you in the long term, okay, without your laboring for it and working for it every day. So I think that's what most people think about when they think about Rich Dad, Poor Dad, is they think about the idea of passive income and being an investor, right? And so I read these a lot of questions in my group and other people's groups and things like that, where they'll say things like, man, I've got $200 and I really want to start investing. What should I do? And maybe they've been reading about investing for a year, or sometimes even like several years. They're reading about investing, they're thinking about investing all the time. It's all they've got their mind on, but they don't have any money, and they don't have a really way to test any of this kind of stuff. Or they got like $20 in investment, or $100, or even $500. None of this stuff really is going to change anything for them. Even if they double their money and they do very well with their returns, they're still, now you got $1,000 instead of $500, and it took you a year to get that, right? When you're just starting out, or you're early on in the process, you're much better off doing what he talks about in what I believe is the most important concept in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and that's called the cash flow quadrant. Cash flow quadrant, okay? And what that is, it's like a little chart. It's got 4 parts, right? And I'll show it right here. And you have the employee at the top left, and then below that you have a S, right? So you have an E, an S, a B, and an I. And the E stands for employee. The B or the S stands for self-employed. The B stands for business owner, and I is for investor. Okay. And so, the idea, the goal for all of us should be to get to that I category where we are not working for all of our money. We're not having to put in time and labor and getting taxed at higher rates and all of the things that come with a job, right? The idea is that we want to be able to, turn our money into passive income and have our money working for us, or our businesses working for us, right? And so the most important thing that he talks about is when you're in that employee category, when you're getting your first job, or you're early on in your career, you're still, or even if you're late in your career, but now you realize, man, I need to get to this business and investing side. Well, what you need to do is to stop worrying so much about trying to make money and all this kind of stuff. What you need to do is get the correct skills, get the skills that are going to be able to produce for you. Because you take that same guy that invested $500 and maybe doubled it into 1,000, right? If he had really learned a skill that could make him a lot of money, that $500, let's say he invested it into learning, right? He invested in himself. Then his ability and his new skills could have made him $30,000 extra that year, or 50,000 extra, or 100,000 extra, right? And so investing that little bit of money into something that is going to get you, a percentage return is not going to do anything compared to what investing in yourself and in your education, in growing your own skills, will do for you. And so that's why it's so important to, what they say, invest in yourself early on, but really it's something that you should do throughout your whole time, no matter whether you're, just getting started as an employee, or you're self-employed, or if you have a business, or if you're an investor. Whatever you do, you should definitely be working on investing in yourself. That's something that should be continuous throughout your life, because there's always someone that knows something more, that has more experience in an area that you need help in. And the more you get their help, and the quicker you gain the skills that you need in order to do those things, or the more you will pay somebody who is very skilled and very qualified to get you the result that you want, the better off you're going to be in life, right? So this is what Robert Kiyosaki, the writer of the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, he talked about how he became an employee. He took on a job at, I believe it was IBM, and he was on their sales team. And he was in Hawaii at the time. He became like their top salesperson in that area. But the reason he joined the program, the reason he joined that company, wasn't to be able to get paid a lot of money. It was because they had the best sales training program in the country, right? So he wanted to go there not to learn skills and make money. I mean, he was making really good money there, but that wasn't the point. The point was that he wanted that education that was going to come free from him doing that, and that experience that he was going to get at that job. So that's why it was so important for him to do that early on. And, very quickly he went into real estate, and he invested a little that he had, and he started buying properties and things like that. But the important thing to note is that he invested his time into working at a job where he would acquire those skills that he needed in order to have success in the area that he wanted to be in. And so that's actually the same path that I followed. I went to college for marketing. I was learning it and studying, and I wanted to work in marketing, but and then I even got a job in marketing, but it wasn't really helping that much, because I wasn't understanding, I wasn't actually getting direction and growing skills, because it was a small company and there weren't other people that could mentor me and help me in the way that I need to. And I didn't really know how to learn and grow my skills myself then. YouTube wasn't that big back then. There were a lot of things I was kind of on my own. And so, as I left that job, and then, that's when I heard about Rich Dad Poor Dad, that's when I started freelancing. And, I finally got an account on Upwork, and I started finding out how to get clients there and make money there and things like that. And as I was freelancing, that's where my skills really shot through the roof, because I got to practice the same skills over and over and over across multiple businesses. And I got to see what works, what doesn't work, why it works. And, I got to see, okay, this works over here, but not over here. And I got to find all these different things and really understand for myself through my own direct experience what works and what doesn't. And that kind of training and that experience was amazing. I don't know of anywhere else that you could really find that. And so freelancing for me, it took me out of the employee category and into the self-employed category, but also it just gave me immense skills. that, I've then since used to go into the business quadrant where, I actually have a business and I coach freelancers. Now I still do freelancing myself as well, but, the two things work together and everything builds on top of each other. And so, I do have investments and, I do invest in things, but honestly, it's still a small percentage of what my income is. And, it's growing each year, but still, I'm still in such a place that the more I can grow my skills, the better I can do with that side, the more I'm going to make, which is going to just give me more and more to be able to use to invest and things like that. So even for now, like, my main focus isn't investing. So I'm not sitting there reading about investing in all these things all the time, because that's not where my time could be best spent. My time could be best spent right now learning how to grow my business more. Even though I've been doing it for 10 years, there's still people that know more than me, that have more experience in doing exactly what I'm trying to do now. And so I'm investing in myself to be able to go to the next level of what I'm doing. And so my advice for any of you, if you're looking to become a freelance marketer, or maybe you want to do investing one day, like build the skills first. Worry about growing your skills. Worry about getting better at something. And that's why I recommend freelance marketing, is because there's not really a cap on what you could get paid for it. And it's just such an amazing industry to work in. And so like, I would definitely recommend doing that. But sales is another category that a lot of people can do very well in. It's very similar to the marketing side of it, because you're growing a company, you're able to make them more money. And so, they're willing to pay you very well if you can do that for them. But for me, sales was never something that I wanted to do. So, it's very, we're all different. We're all individuals, and we can all go different ways. But, to follow that cash flow quadrant, like Robert Kiyosaki talks about in Rich Dad Poor Dad, to go from employee to self-employed to business owner to investor, that's the path that you take. And if you try to skip steps, or try to, just go straight to investor or go straight to business owner when, you don't have the skills yet, it's bound for failure. It really is. And so I hope this video helps you. If you haven't got it yet, please download my ebook. It's about, how you can make more money freelancing online. Also, if you haven't downloaded my ebook, it's called Why Freelancing is the Fastest Way to Make 100K Online. You can go ahead and do that in the description below. If this video has helped you, please comment below. Let me know what you'd like me to talk about in the next video. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notifications. I upload 3 times a week. And thank you guys. God bless. I'll see you in the next video.